Batman Catwoman issue 3, Tom King writing with Clayman on art. Speaking of really good books, more good Batcat stuff as well.
Yep.
This introduces a whole extra thing here where fully on Helena Wayne's now a main character of this book.
We were already telling a story on two fronts, right? Where we have the present and then the past and the future, but now we have an extra character in the future, right? And yeah, oh man, this is for me the platonic ideal of Tom King's Batman. Like, this is what I wanted him to do, like coming out of Sheriff of Babylon, you know? And then when we got to Batman, like, it was cool that he took chances. I just didn't end up liking those chances that he took, you know? And here I feel like, not that he's fixing things, but this is exactly what I want in a Batman book. And it might just be because there's not a lot of Batman in it, weirdly. You know? Like, this is mainly a Catwoman story so far.
Yeah, I guess I would describe this, because I think after the first issue, I thought, oh, that was okay, but it wasn't up to the level of his other books. I think issue 2 and 3 have kind of said, nah, yes, it's kind of getting there. It's really good.
Yeah.
But I would sort of describe it as, like, one of his 12-issue minis meets the best parts of his Batman run. Because obviously Rorschach and Strange Adventures feels so different, and I think this again feels so different, and it feels more like the best of his Batman run. I think one of my favorite panels, like I said it earlier, there was a panel in Superman that was going to do my panel of the week. I may have lied actually, because there's a panel in this that might fight for it. It's the panel where you can see Phantasm having murdered someone and just in a window in the bottom half of the page. It's as Helena and Selena are having dinner, and they're discussing someone found a body, this old man in Florida, it might be the Joker. Because Dick's commissioner now, we're learning things as we go here.
Which I've never thought about before, but if we're peeking back into continuity, he was a cop in Bloodhaven. You know, like, yeah, it makes sense. A little more sense than Barbara, right? In Batman Beyond. But
I mean, we'll see what he does with it. I mean, right now all we have is one scene of it, but so this issue is framed by obviously the three different timelines at play. You've got the I'll say the oldest Selena is the present, right, and everything else is in the past, right? Because that's what it feels like. So present is Helena trying to bring this up to her mother, Selena, and her not seeming to care or pretending not to care. But Helena going there, and she's got her own bat outfit. She has a Batwoman outfit, I guess, for lack of a better term. And she's at the rooftop with the signal on deck, and she goes to the crime scene. And the issue ends with her saying that she didn't find any evidence, because Selena's like, hey, did you find any evidence at the crime scene? And she's like, no, but we see that she did. She's holding what looks like either a cat hair or a needle or something. Like, it's hard to tell. But she found something that's probably already linking it to her, because Dick's still treating this like a murder, and because Joker's crimes were mainly in Gotham, he's went in and got jurisdiction so that they can investigate the crime.
Right.
They want to find the killer. So this is about Helena, at least partially, hunting her own mother for the crime of killing the Joker.
Yeah. Which, if you know anything again, continuity, Helena Wayne was the first Huntress.
Of course, yes.
So, you know. But yeah, no, and then just the dynamic here with what Selena's done, right? That she had something to do with the Joker that's leading to the Phantasm hunting her. And just the moments that we get with her and Joker are just, it's phenomenal. Like her showing up and attacking him, and him being like, oh, you didn't find the reindeers funny? And then she describes that they were people that he had sewn antlers onto. Yeah,
there was one of his insane Christmas pranks, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
And then just so the idea that like she had got whatever they had done, it was, like she was able to look past Joker, because we know that she doesn't like dealing with him, right? But like whatever it was big enough that she decided to work with him.
I mean, the gist I was getting, I mean, maybe there's some specific incident that they're going to get to, but right now in this issue, the gist I was getting is that we have the two different timelines at play in the past where Selena sees this crime scene with the antlers and goes and beats the shit out of Joker.
Yeah.
Later, she sees Batman, and Batman notices some cuts and scratches and says, "Oh, what happened? I see them. I'm the world's greatest detective. I notice these things."
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, it's just a fight. Don't worry about it. You can make me feel better, though." And they have sex. Right. That's the end of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a scene where Selina is robbing a safe, and Joker is like hiding in the safe. And Joker's whole thing here is that he's like, I'm going to tell you something crazy I'm about to do. I'm going to like gas all these people at the. I don't remember what it was, but
it was a Christmas themed thing again.
Maybe a New Year's party or something like that. Yeah, something to that effect. And she's like, "Why are you telling me this?" And he's like, "Well, I'm telling you this because, you were really mad about the antlers thing. So I'm going to tell you. But the reason why I didn't tell you is because you're becoming part of Batman's world, and I knew it was going to be difficult for you because now you've got a choice. Do you tell Batman about this plan, and then he'll go and save everyone? But then he's going to know that you're part of my world and that we're still kind of a thing." And I see a lot of this book being about how Catwoman was part of the villain's world, and she was fully into that world at one point, and then gradually came over to being this hero, to being Batman's wife, and so on.
But there's also a difference there that she can make that conscious decision. This isn't a Harley Quinn thing, right? Where she just got tired of the Joker. It was like the choice has always been Selina's, and that she chose, to be the greatest cat thief, right? That put her on the sights of the Joker, or the Joker of Batman, and now that put the sights of the Joker on her,
Yeah, and whatever stuff she was party to, whatever she was involved in with Joker in the past, I think a lot of this book is about her guilt and about her dealing with whatever she was involved in.
Yeah.
So we don't know if she will warn Batman about this upcoming thing.
No.
But then obviously the next part of the timeline is the part of the timeline where Phantasm is hunting down known associates of the Joker and trying to get to Joker for what happened to her son. And part of that is that Joker is basically made it clear to Phantasm, or there was a message on the body of the guy that Phantasm killed that said that Batman and Catwoman have the Joker locked in a cell. It's very Hannibal Lecter. He's got this sort of clear cell in the middle of a room. And that's kind of what sets Phantasm after Catwoman, which is a big part of the last half of the issue, is Phantasm showing up in Selina's bedroom and attacking her, and they end up getting off the roof of Wayne Manor. It's a really beautiful page, and they both land there.
They both land there, and it's proof that cats don't always land on their feet.
Yes, very true.
But yeah, just that scene with her, and it's like a voicemail from Bruce as she's in bed, and he's like, I got something that might just be a hiccup in the security system. It's something that Alfred would have dealt with, but if you could look at it for me, like, I figure if anybody knows alarm systems, it's you, right? And it's Phantasm that's gotten into Wayne Manor to get Selina Kyle. Like, it was kind of chilling. Like, it was very horror movie-esque.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, Joker, like, being all contorted in the safe, that's a great full page. That's
the Hellraiser.
Yeah, there's no Hellraiser there for me. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I've never seen it. It lives in my brain. But the way that that's put together with his mouth in the shadows as he's talking, and then it reveals, like,
there's a whole the whole conversation takes place before we see what he actually looks like, because it's all just the hand sticking out of the safe, or you see, like you say, you see the smile in the shadow. So it's just this like Joker smile in dark and pure black, and it's really creepy. Yep. It's full on horror movie stuff.
It's very creepy, and then the reveal too. And I laughed. He's wearing a money suit.
Yeah,
as he's stuffed in the vault. Like, this is, to me, this is up there with Tom King's best, like you said, Batman stuff. But like, I don't know if I put it over the Mr. Freeze stuff just yet. But I feel like when it's all said and done, it just might be.
I think what sticks out to me about this, going back to the whole guilt thing, it's not just even the guilt. Yeah. It's how much the Joker sort of latched onto her and manipulated her. Because this whole idea that he waited in a vault that he knew she'd break into, so he could be in there to tell her this, to give her this dilemma of to whether or not she can be honest with Batman or not, and wearing this suit, and it's basically pretending to be the prize in a vault. He clearly... He did all this to mess with her. This is all to mess with her, because as much as he messes with Batman, he's clearly enjoying through the years messing with Selina too. And that's part of what he's enjoying doing. And I think a lot of this, the reason why she killed him last issue, the years and years of abuse and torment that she's suffered from him, Not that Selina was always squeaky clean, guilt free, because she got into life of crime. That's always who she was. But I think the Joker did a number on her over the years, and a lot of this series rather, is about exploring just how messed up he was to her, and this is an example of that. And it comes across as just demented what he does to her here, even though all he really does is give her this. It's a very Joker-esque choice. Like, he puts her in this like hard place where she has to either like ruin her image to Batman, even though Batman kind of knows full well who she is and what her past is to a point, you know.
Well, and it's like, so she tells him, like, I ran into the Joker, right? And he told me he was going to do this. But then it's also like, well, was Joker counting on her running and telling Batman, or is he counting on her not? And it really is a dilemma, because what do you do? Because I thought about this, and it's a lose-lose for Selina, right? But she's going to have to buck up and pick one. You know,
well, actually, to be fair,
right.
He does say there's a third option where Selina can try and save everyone herself, but then Batman will figure everything out. You'll find out. Right.
So it's a lose-lose, and it does go with that torment of over the years where she finally, once Bruce is gone, she's like, I can take care of this.
Yeah, and I love the pages of Helena, Batwoman. The outfit's great. I love the yellow cape. It's kind of like a Batgirl meets Batman outfit, essentially.
Well, just the fact where, she's talking with Selina and she's like, it's the Joker, but it's still a murder. She goes, it's still a murder. You sound just like your father. You're just like,
that is good. Yeah, no, I do love that. You just make me think of it as her saying you sound like your father. Now, the art is extremely excellent the vast majority of the time. There are a couple of panels here or there that have some problematic stuff. There's one I'm on it right now. So I love a lot of this page. There's a page where Helena's kind of like either jumping or gliding past the moon, and it's kind of like upside down in the middle of the page. The panel at the bottom of that, where she's sort of like against the side of a building, kind of in that classic, almost Spider-Man-esque pose. That's one of like Clayman's kind of like weirdly slutty looking poses that feel kind of unnatural.
Well, it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
It's like one of those. I will say that, sometimes it gets a little skeezy, because there's one also of Selina in front of the safe where her butt's in full view. That said, all the other stuff in this issue, I think is some of his best work that I've seen. Yeah,
a lot of it's fantastic. And the fact is there is a couple of intentionally sexy stuff just before Bruce and Selina have sex, but it works in the context of the scene. Like,
that's what they're going for.
And Bruce is also topless and kind of sexy as well, for the record, in the scene.
Bruce is jacked.
But Clayman does have a history of over sexualizing and making some of the costumes feel like they're just like painted out of the skin. And I do think one or two of those examples are here in this issue. But for the most part, it does look excellent. Like I say, that panel of Phantasm having murdered the henchman in the apartment, and it's just like through the window. I love that. Like, Phantasm looks great.
While there's a Christmas party going on upstairs.
Yeah, that's the perfect touch to it as well. Yeah.
So it's real good.
If you make me feel like I'm in Rear Window and I'm watching the murder from across the street, Rear Window style, you're doing something right.
You don't ever sleep again.
No, this book, I mean, the issue 1 wasn't bad by any means, but I think issue 2 and 3 were really what I think 1 is over.
It's rounding into shape, you could say.
So I'm excited. I'm excited about it now.
The title page, that's like one of those advent calendars. Each title's in a different window. I'm liking that motif. Is pretty cool. Just the overall Christmassy feel. Like, Batman at Christmas is a vibe. So yeah, it's just all around good.
Yeah. I mean, even after that Advent page, there's a close up of almost like opening one of the Advent doors.
Yeah.
For issue 3. That's a neat touch. So no, wonderful. All right. If I even, it's like page 3 is it's like Joker in his cell, like singing and dancing. It's just kind of demented. Yeah.
Also, the borders too of all the Christmas stuff in some of the pages. Like, they filled that negative space with almost like Christmas wrapping. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's when she's beating him up after the antler thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are you rating Batman Catwoman?
I'm gonna give this an 8.5.
See, I'm tempted to give it a 9, but those one or two art hiccups are making me kind of think I should dock it a little. So I'll probably agree with the 8.5, but it probably would have got the 9 had it not been for those couple of panels of like the sleazier, unrealistic art. So
yeah,
but the art otherwise is fantastic. Like that page of the first time you see Selina and Helena at the big table in Wayne Manor, and the cat sleeping on the stool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that stuff is absolutely gorgeous. Like it's just wonderful. So yeah, great.